Welcome to the double exposure tutorial. So what I'm going to do first is I have a picture of myself against a blank backdrop. It's going to be really easy to select myself against that blank backdrop. So what I want to do first here is have my layers, all right? So that most of the stuff that we're going to be doing today, we're going to be playing around within our layers panel as we usually do within multiplicity and levitation and all that kind of stuff. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to use my quick selection tool. I'm going to go ahead and select myself, try to get some of those little hairs as well, because that's what's going to make your layer mask look a little bit more interesting. Make sure that you have everything that you need selected. Then of course you can go up at the top, select and mask, go to your little hair brush over here and draw over all those little spare hairs, hoping to get them into your selection. So I'm just going around my hair up there, going around my beard right there, and the back of my head, and that should be okay. All right, so now when I go ahead and hit OK, boom, there's my selection. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a layer mask. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to duplicate these layers with the layer mask. You'll see why in a second. I'm just duplicating a couple of those because I want these extra layer masks because we're going to be able to move those layer masks around. All right. So one thing that I can do too ahead of time is I could go to my cropping tool. And I could actually expand the back end of this and maybe even like crop this so I don't have those words showing up on my sweatshirt, and maybe even like crop this down a little bit like so. Hit, double click, Command 0 brings me to my full screen. And so here I have, myself, this profile, and again, the 3 layer masks, okay? So next thing I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and I am going to take an image. Hey, look at this boring image of the school right here. I'm going to go to select all. I'm going to go to copy, and then I'm going to come over here to my image and I am going to paste. All right. So first things first, I'm going to drag that layer right on top of the layer that I'm using. If I want to go ahead and reduce down the opacity of this layer right here, so I can kind of see through it, so I can see where is all of this stuff in this landscape layer actually going to stack up when it's on top of me. All right. So one thing I can do is I can go to Command T. I can stretch this image to make it look a little bit better. Maybe I want that tree in here. Maybe even I want the tree a little bit smaller. I can kind of play around with that. Obviously, you're going to be playing around with what you actually choose to use as far as your objects, okay? What's actually going to be in the landscape, okay? Now, that placement is looking pretty good right here, but I'm not quite covering up the bottom of myself. What I could do is I could come through and duplicate this layer. I could actually now transform this layer. I can actually rotate this layer. And maybe I want to have the same layer just be sort of below. All right. So I can actually have that layer kind of covering me up. I can blend those together a little bit later, and I can show you how to do that. So here are where these extra sort of layer masks come into play. So what I could do now is I could bring back the opacity of these 2 layers, layer number 1 and layer number 1 copy. So I go ahead and again bring back my opacity to that. I can still go to my move tool. Maybe I can move that so like there, perfect, like the parking lot is kind of looking a little doubled over, a little mirror image of itself. So now here's what's kind of cool about these layer masks. Watch this. I can come up here and I can actually drag that layer mask to there. I can actually come through, drag this layer mask to there. The reason why you're seeing this sort of background right now is because I have these 2 layers still visible. Okay, so I can actually remove the eyeballs from the bottom layer. I'm actually going to add another layer. So I'm just going to go to my little plus layer icon right here. and it actually added a layer, and I'm going to drag it right below there. And now I'm going to edit, and I'm going to fill that. All right. I can fill it with just really any color at the moment. I could fill it with white, just so that we're not looking at that checkerboard background right there, so that we're looking at just a white backdrop. Okay. So now what you're going to be able to do within your image here is you are now going to be able to start to draw into and play around with your layer masks. Okay. You know, some people like the images looking like this, but if you want to actually reveal a little bit of yourself within this image, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to click on the layer mask. Again, click on the layer mask that you are looking at here, and I can now start to draw black. Remember, black is what we don't see. So if I switch the colors over here to black, I go to my brush. Now, right now it says normal, but I can change this up. If I go to my opacity and bring it down to say 30%, and I go to my brush, and I can make my brush a little bit bigger here so I can see what I'm doing. Have a nice faded edge to my brush, and watch what I'm doing on the layer mask right here, the middle one, which is the layer mask that's covering up my face. All right, so if I start to draw into that, now I'm actually going to reveal me. Hey, there I am. So I'm just drawing. If I want to reveal some of my facial features, get a little bit of my lips going there, get a little bit of my eyes going there. The more you draw, hey, I have an ear back here. I could reveal my ear if I really wanted to, so that we're actually kind of like seeing, hey, this is an actual portrait of a person. If I don't like my ear showing up there, hey, you know what to do. Go back to white and just draw over that, all right? So that you are erasing that. And that's the same thing you're going to be able to do for all of this stuff. Hey, if I don't want, my lips showing up, well, then I can go ahead and I can draw white over that, okay? Now you're saying, hey, if I keep drawing white over that, I'm going to start to reveal the background there, okay? So things that you may want to think about when you are doing this is you can still select even though you're kind of drawing within your layer mask. So if I just go back, Command Z a couple times, all right, everybody should learn that key command, Command Z, I could, go back to my layer mask. If I hit my Command key, it will actually, and I click on that layer mask, the unobstructed one, the one where I haven't drawn into it. If I click on the layer mask, well, look at it, it draws, around where my layer mask is. So if I go back up to this image, and again, white, I want to get rid of some of that stuff. Well, now I'm drawing over it. It's not going to get rid of, what I don't want to get rid of in the background. Now, let's say you want to reveal some stuff in the background. Well, now you can start to do some cool things with how your background looks. Some people like, just using a white backdrop. Some people, you can change it to black. I can simply, again, go to my thing here. I can go up to Edit. I can go to Fill. I can choose black this time. Actually, I'm going to have nothing selected. So I'm going to go to Select and Deselect. And then go back to that background layer, go to Edit, Fill. I can choose to make that black if I want to. All right. It's up to you as far as what you want your background to be. Some people like it to actually be a little bit of a color that's existing within their image. So if I go to my eyedropper tool and I pick like a gray that is sort of within my image, that is going to appear on the top color right here. So I could go back to my layer, up here at the top where it says Edit. I could go back to Fill. I could now choose foreground color, because that's what I'm looking at there. And then I could actually put this foreground color into my image. Some people like it where their flesh tone doesn't, so it doesn't interfere with the actual picture. You can now go to your portrait layer. You can go up to image. Sorry, I don't have the top stuff up here highlighted, but you can go to image, you can go to your adjustments, you can go to desaturate. And so now I'm actually making the portrait part of me fade in and be a little bit more black and white so that it actually blends together with my image a little bit more. I can start to also blow out these clouds. Let's say I want to make it look like the clouds are actually expanding outside of the back of my head. All right. Well, hey, you want to be on layer number 1, the layer that actually has this image on top of it. I don't have to have anything selected, and with white selected, all right, I'm working in a layer mask, so white on top, I go back to my brush, and that's where I can start to draw in to my image. And of course I can make my opacity 100% so I don't have to keep drawing over and over and over this. And that's where I can start to have some of this cloud stuff start to kind of expand out of my head. All right, even the tree back here, I can start to have that stuff expand out of my head. Now it's looking a little weird because I have that abrupt line right here from my image. So you know what to do. I can go to my cropping tool, which is what I would definitely want to do with this image, kind of creatively crop it. So now if I go ahead and, draw that box, so maybe this is what I want my image to look like. So that I'm sort of blowing out the back end of my head over there. Again, I can drag this down if I want a little bit more down there. Go ahead and double click. And so this could be, again, sort of my final image. I can start to play around with this more. Let's say I want the total back end of my head blown out. Again, go to your brush. I can now just draw over all of this stuff and just make it look like, I'm just sort of expanding out from the school. That could be something that's kind of interesting. The reason why this background color works well is because it really kind of starts to blend in up here. Like where do the clouds end and begin? You really don't know. You can start to get a little creative with how you want that line to go if you want it to look a little bit more cloudy and faded out as far as it looking like it's really sort of expanding out from my head. I can still draw back into this though. Remember, again, if I have my black that I draw onto it, so I just switch that to black, I can fade that out. Let's say I want more of my face now sort of kind of blending in here, and so like maybe my ear starts to get shown a little bit more, so then I can start to draw into this, and that means that I'm fading out the school picture a little bit because I'm actually bringing myself out a little bit more. It's all a matter of how much you want to kind of draw into it, and it's all about these layer masks. All right, so have fun with the assignment. There are lots of different ways to be doing this and playing around with this, so please check out those other tutorials. There's other tutorials online. If you don't like how this bottom image here is going, like see how I have a little bit of that corner kind of showing up over here? Well, hey, here's one thing about your layer mask and your image. This link right here, if I click on the picture now and go back to Command T, I can start to, again, expand and play around with that image, okay, and where that image is actually falling. If I want that to be below that image, hey, I can drag that image below, and now you'll see when I go to transform it, it's now below the other image. All right, so maybe I want more of the trees showing, or whatever the case may be. You can kind of expand that, play around with that as far as how much you have showing. Okay, again, and that's the bottom image. If you don't even like that, let's trash that, completely trash it. We can go back up to this top image. Look at this. I'm going to unlink it, click on my image, go back to Command T, and now I'm able to stretch out the entire image, and I'm not stretching out my layer mask, okay? So that could be something that you think about when you're doing that. Now look what happens if I link them and I do Command T, well, it's going to do the layer mask as well, all right? So you don't want to do that. You definitely want to make sure that you are unlinking it, all right? So again, here's your link. So you're linking or you're unlinking, but also definitely have it unlinked when you want to transform your image and not the actual layer mask. All right. Obviously, you need to submit this as a JPEG, so please make sure you do so with that. And that is my tutorial and how to do a double exposure. A little different from the tutorials that you might be looking at online, but hey, within Photoshop, there's a million different ways to do a million different things. You'll be seeing that and playing around with that yourself very soon.